Yeah, friends, welcome. So we are going to discuss this topic, time value of money, as we planned just now. That first we'll cover this concept of time value of money, then we'll be seeing other parts of financial management. And this concept of time value of money is important for all the kinds of financial decisions. Be it investment decision, you have already studied investment decision, and be it your financing decision, capital structure, cost of capital, etc., and be it dividend decisions. In all the three kinds of decisions, or you can say in the context of all these three decisions, the concept of time value of money is extremely important. You can also say this is the foundation of financial management. So we expect all of you should have a kind of very thorough knowledge or almost a kind of expert knowledge on the concept of time value of money. Right? To understand that concept, I'm going to share the screen with you. Let us quickly discuss this concept. Once this is over, then we'll be switching over to other decisions of financial management, maybe investment decision and financing decision. Yeah, going to share the file with you right now. Okay, friends, you know the concept of interest. I think this is not a new concept for you. You already know what is the meaning of interest. And as you can say, I'm showing you three kinds of interest. One is, can you read it? What is written here? What kind of interest I'm talking about?
Simple interest. Simple interest. Simple.
Simple interest. You know what is simple interest, right? I think simple interest means on original principle, you'll be keep on paying interest or you'll keep on receiving interest on original principle, right? Suppose I'm giving you 100 rupees today, and let us say rate of interest is 10%. Then after 1 year, that 100 rupees will become 110 rupees. Okay. And next year, after one more year, how it will be become? Next year, how much it will be the total amount? Again 10%. Right. Again, add 10 rupees will again be added. The 110 will become 120 rupees. That means interest will be calculated always on the original principal. So simple interest means interest on original principal. In that case, future value will be the present value. That means right now, whatever money we are investing plus simple interest. Okay. Or how to calculate it? Present value plus present value into interest into number of years. Okay. On that basis, if it is simple interest, we have to calculate future value like this. Okay. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, please again, sir, clarify the same, sir.
Okay. Simple interest you have understood. It is an interest on the original principal. Okay. I'll be clarifying you. Just now I will be showing you an example. Simple interest, all of us know it is an interest on original principal. Suppose let us say you are investing 100 rupees today and rate of interest is 10%. That means after 1 year, that 100 rupees will become how much?
110, sir.
And after second year, how much? If it is simple interest will be calculated always on the original principal. That means second year also interest will be rupees 10% and 100. So at the end of second year, the money will become 120 rupees, right? For first year interest 10 rupees, second year interest another 10 rupees, it will be added. This concept is called as simple interest. We also need to understand what is the meaning of compound interest. Compound interest means your interest is calculated on original principal plus on previously earned interest. If interest has already been earned, that will be added to the principal, and on that amount, interest rate will be applied. That is called as compounded interest. Okay. And the third concept we are going to learn here is the concept of effective rate of interest. What is effective rate of interest? This is the actual equivalent annual rate of interest. Okay, I repeat, actual equivalent annual rate of interest when interest is credited more than once in a year. Suppose interest is credited on quarterly basis. Okay, that is more than 1 year, more than once in a year. You have to find out what is the annual equivalent of that interest. That is called as effective rate of interest. So these three concepts are important for us to enter into the concept of time value of money. Okay, so how to understand this thing? First, I'm taking you to an Excel file. Just a minute. I'll be going to share a file with you just now. So after that, it will be easier for you to understand the concept. Are you seeing an Excel file now?
Yes, sir.
Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us understand it. Now focus it here. Let us take an example of simple interest. You see, this is a table you are saying. This column is what? Can you read what is this column?
Principal, sir. Principal.
Principal, right? So you are saying this is principal. Principal is how much? All of you, please keep on responding.
1 lakh.
1 lakh. Let us assume this rate of interest. Rate of interest is how much?
10%.
10%.
10%. Let us say it is for 1 year. If it is 1 year, then what is the interest for 1 year? So principal is 1 lakh, rate of interest is 10%. So period is 1 year. So interest will be 10,000. Is it not? How I am calculating? Principal into rate of interest into 1. If I multiply all these three, I'll be getting 10,000. If it is for 2 years, let us say 2 years interest, I'll make it 2. It will become 20. If it is 3 years, I'll make it 30. Right? Is it not? Okay. This is how interest is calculated. So if I call this amount, let us say what you are investing right now, that is the principal amount, or you can call that thing at the present value. If that is present value, in future it will become, after 1 year, it will become how much? 1,10,000 rupees. Okay, future value will become 1,10,000 rupees. Right. So this is the future value. And what is this future value? You can say the future value is the principal plus interest. The future value. Okay. Right? Principal plus interest. Principal amount is there plus interest. Or formula wise, I can require future value at end period is equal to principal or the present value at 0 plus simple interest. Okay. How to calculate simple interest? Present value plus present value into interest into number of years. Did you understand the simple interest concept? Simple interest is very simple to understand. You know all these things. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You have understood the simple interest. Now, simple interest part, we'll try to understand what is compound interest. Okay. Now, let us say, here I told you 10% per annum. Here, same 10% per annum, let us say interest is compounded on quarterly basis. On quarterly basis means in every 3 months it is going to be compounded. Right. Let us say principal amount is 1 lakh rupees. Rate of interest is 10% per annum. Right. Since it is compounded on quarterly basis, what will happen? We'll find out what is the interest rate for each quarter. Period here is 0.25. 0.25 means 1 quarter. 0.25 years. Okay. Period in years, if we say 0.25 years or 1/4 year. Then what will the interest? Same way. 1 lakh into 10% into 0.25. It will become 2,500. Right? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
And after 1 quarter, the future value will become how much? 1,02,500. Because what is this? This is principal plus interest. After 1 quarter, it become 1,02,500. And this future value will become opening value in the next quarter. When it will be compute, since it is a compounding interest, the next period's interest will be calculated on the principal plus interest earned. So principal plus interest earned is 1,02,500. So after next quarter, the opening balance, or you can say the principal amount will become 1,02,500. Again, you add 10% interest. And for 0.25 years, it becomes 2,563. Okay. And the future value after second quarter will become how much? 1,05,063. Okay. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And at the beginning of the third quarter, this will become your opening balance, or this will become the new principal. Again, interest 10% for 0.25 years, and interest amount will become 2,627. If I multiply it, you'll get 2,627, and the future value will be 1,07,689. This is the future value at the end of quarter 3. Okay, at the end of quarter 3 means at the beginning of quarter 4. At quarter 4, the principal will become, a new principal will become 1,07,689. Interest is again 10% for 0.25 years. And now interest amount comes 2,692. And the future value becomes 1,10,381. Okay, so if you analyze in the entire year, when I'm compounding interest on quarterly basis, total how much interest I'm getting? Can you tell me what is my total interest? What is the total interest?
10,000.
Not 10,000. Under compounding interest, what is the total interest? You see, when interest is compounded, total interest is 10,381. Okay, total interest is 10,381. When it was simple interest, the interest was only 10,000. So this is the advantage of compounding interest for the recipient, person who is receiving interest. He is receiving 381 rupees more. So there is a profit of 381 when interest is compounded. So compounding interest is more. Okay, so how to calculate this compound interest? Either step by step, period by period, we will do it, or what we can do, we can apply this formula. This formula you might have learned in your school days. The formula is that you see A is equal to P into 1 plus R to the power N. Okay, that means amount is equal to principal into 1 plus rate of interest to the power period, number of period. Okay. In financial management, what we do, we call this thing as future value. This is the future value, 1,10,381. Because in future, my 1 lakh is becoming 1,10,381. Okay, what we call it as a amount. Here we are calling it the future value. And how we are calculating future value? This is the formula for this thing. Future value is equal to principal into 1 plus interest, rate of interest to the power n. By applying this formula, here you see this formula is applied. Okay, principal, that is 1 lakh. Okay, into rate of interest. Rate of interest is for that period. Rate of interest is 1 plus 0.025. That means this is the quarterly rate of interest, and to the power 4, because there are 4 periods. We are finding out the amount is 1,10,381. Are you watching the formula here in the formula bar? You can watch the formula here. You can understand this is how future value is computed. So if present value is given to you, future value you can compute just multiplying with 1 plus rate of interest for that period to the power n, means the period, number of periods. Okay, so this concept is called the present. By using compounding interest, we can also compute what is the future value. Okay, here what is happening? You see, principal is multiplied with a factor. This entire factor is called as the future value factor. Okay, now you might, next concept is that we'll be learning what is effective rate of interest. What is effective interest rate? As you know, the annual equivalent rate of interest, which interest is credited more than once in a year. Here you see, in the entire year, total interest we got 10,381. Okay, quarterly basis is 10%. But overall, if you calculate what is the annual interest, total interest is 10,381. 10,381 we got it on 1 lakh rupees. Okay, So the equivalent annual rate is 10.38%. Okay, so that means 10% compounding per quarter means 10.38% per annum. Okay, see, this is also 10% annum, but this is 10% annum compounded on quarterly basis. And the effective rate, effective equivalent of that thing is 10.38%. Did you get this concept? How to calculate this effective rate of return, effective rate of interest? This is the formula for you. Okay, you can calculate simply 10,381 divided by 1 lakh. You will get 10.38%. Or effective interest can be calculated by using this formula as you have done here. You see, 1 plus interest divided by frequency to the power frequency minus 1. By using this formula, here also it is computed 1 plus interest is 10%, therefore 0.1 divided by frequency 4 to the power 4 minus 1, 10.38% can calculate by using the formula. So these three formula are important for us. One is future value in case of simple interest. You see, this is the formula. Compounding interest, you can calculate future value, and effective interest rate you can calculate by using this formula. These three concepts are important for us, and through this concept we got an idea that the amount in case of compounding interest is always more. Is it that? Did you understand up to this?
Yes.
If you have understood up to this, now we are in fact in a position to move to the concept of time value of money. Okay. So this is the three things I explained to you right now, and these are the formulas under the three things. Okay, but how simple interest is computed, how compound interest is computed, and how this thing, effective rate of interest is computed. We have seen all these things. Okay, so simple interest means interest will be paid always on the original principal, right? And compound interest means interest will be paid in the original principal and also on the interest which has already been earned previously. Okay, so compound interest every year is to be computed. This slides in fact explains you how simple interest is to be computed. You can pause the recorded video will be available. You can pause the video. You can read this slide. You can understand the concept of simple interest. Similarly, what is compound interest is explained in this slide. I had already explained you. You can read this by pausing the video, watching the recorded video, and how it is calculated. This has also been explained here. You can read this thing. And what is effective rate of interest? That also I explained you just now. Right. So you can go through that. How calculations will be made. Now we are going to learn the concept of time value of money. And as the picture shows, you might have heard this proverb that a bird in hand is equal to 2 in bush. That means what you are having right now is more valuable than what you are going to expect in future. Is it not? What you are having right now is definitely more useful, or you can say more valuable than what you are expecting in future. Okay, now let me ask you some simple questions. So all of you are expected to participate. Now let us say I am giving you 100 rupees today, and I am saying you that I will be returning you at the end of 1 year. Or I will do it like this. I am asking you to give me 100 rupees. Can you do that? Can you give me 100 rupees and I will be paying you back after 100 rupees? I'll repay after 1 year. Did you understand the situation? Please give me 100 rupees today, and exactly after 1 year, I am going to return it back to you. Is this proposal okay for you?
Sir, that is not a business proposal, but it is a normal friendship proposal.
Okay, now let us assume it's a business proposal. Business proposal in the sense, for me, it is a financing decision. For you, it is an investment decision. You are investing money with me, and I am arranging a finance. Yeah.
No, sir, that will be loss for us.
That will be loss for you. Okay. Now, if you feel that is really loss for you, let us say I'm changing the proposal now. Now you give me 100 rupees today, I will give you 102 rupees after 1 year. Is this proposal acceptable to you?
Sir, 2% interest is a profit
2% interest is,
for us.
yeah. Will you accept this proposal or you say no?
Yes, sir,
Yes, sir.
accept.
You will
Accept.
accept 2%. Okay. When you are accepting 2%,
No, sir, no.
no, no. Who is saying no? Please give me. Tell me your no. Tell me your name.
Sir, I will say.
Okay. So you are no. Okay. For you, since you are not agreeing with 2%, I'll make. Yeah. Since you are not agreeing 2% for you only,
Hello?
not for others. Yeah. Since
No.
you are. Yeah. You are saying no. If you are saying no for you only, I am making it 3%. Is it okay?
No, sir.
Still not okay. I will make it 4%.
It should be more. It's more than.
Sorry,
Still no.
I couldn't hear it.
No, sir, no. Still.
No, 5%.
Hmm.
Yes, you are agreeing.
No.
No, I will make it 6%.
Yes, no, no, sir, no.
No. Okay, how much you want? You tell me. For this investment, how much you want? 15%. Okay, you want. So now, friends, you see some of you
He
are
wants, sir, 15%.
Sir, uh,
how much you want? 15%.
so it depends upon the alternate source of.
Yeah, you know what is your alternate source. You tell me what is the percentage you want. You evaluate your situation and let me know how much you want. And don't give me this generalized answer that it depends upon ABCD. You give me how much you want. You know what it depends upon. Proposal is very simple. How much you want? I may accept, I may not accept it. Very quickly.
Okay, sir.
15. So if you are 15, arriving at the 15, you see, this is what you are doing.
20.
20%. Okay. Now you have understood. For some of you agreed at 2%, some of you maybe at 5%, some of you at 20%, some of you at 15%. Now you have seen it varies from person to person. Is it not? It varies from the person to person. When you are giving me 100 rupees, you are sacrificing certain thing, and for which you are asking for a compensation. And this small exercise, what you have done, you have tried to evaluate the compensation. That what you are sacrificing, and whether this much of compensation of 2%, 3%, 5%, 20% are sufficient or not. Okay. And since you are giving me money right now and you're getting return after 1 year, right? For 1 year time, you are sacrificing certain thing. You will not be able to use that money. Is it not? Because for 1 year you are giving this money to me. And what is the value of that time? Very quickly you have evaluated. Let us say those who are evaluated, let us say 20%. That means you are saying that value of that time or the sacrifices you have made in that time is 20 rupees. Okay, or someone may say it is 10 rupees, someone say it is 15 rupees, someone say it is 5 rupees, right? So all of you are investment managers, and for every manager you see this value is different because situation is different. Okay, did you understand this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'm giving you one more example. Now listen to this example very carefully. Do you visit to your relative's house?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do. You visit to your relative's house. So you must be visiting to some of your relatives where they may have kids in their family. What do you carry for them? For kids,
Sweet.
Chocolates, sir.
chocolates. So most of us carry chocolates for them. But now you'll do one thing. When you go to a relative's house, you may be carrying chocolates with you, right? And when you reach the house, what you do you give him the chocolate? Do you give the chocolates to the kid at the very beginning, or you wait till you leave the house. That means, let us say you are staying for you'll be staying there for 10 hours. So would you like to give the chocolates at time period 0? That means when you reach the house or when you depart from that house. At what time you would like to give the chocolates? Can you reply?
At the start,
Sorry.
when we enter
When you are entering, when you are
start
reaching the house, let us
initially
say,
only.
yeah, or the initially. That initially means we'll call it at the time period 0, T0, right? Suppose you are staying for 10 hours, so you will not give it. You would definitely like to give it at T0, not at T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, T8, T9, T10. T10 means at 10th hour when you are leaving, assuming that you are staying for 10 hours. So definitely you would like to give the chocolates to the kid at T0. All of you are agreeing to this? T0 or T10?
T0 for chocolate, sir.
T0. Definitely everybody do it. We reach the house and immediately hand over the chocolate T0. Now, why at T0? Why not at 10, T10? Have you ever analyzed? Why the moment you are reaching the house? Why not at the time when you are leaving the house? For you, that is an investment. Can you think of what is the risk? Can you give me some reason? Or I am giving you one more. I'm let us say changing this example now. Let us assume that you are carrying chocolates. Okay. At the beginning, when you reach the house, you ask the kid, you see, wait, listen, you see, this is the chocolate I have brought for you, but I am not going to give you right now. I will give you in the evening when I will be leaving. What will be the reaction of that kid? Whether he will be happy or he will be unhappy?
Sir, unhappy, sir.
He will be unhappy, right? But you are showing him, you see, there is no race, chocolate is with me. This is the chocolate I am carrying, you see. Chocolate is already there. Definitely I am going to give you, but I am not going to give you right now. I will give you in the evening. Still he is unhappy. Is it not?
Right, sir.
Okay, he is unhappy. He is thinking that chocolate, if he has brought, why he is not giving me right now? Now, friends, now if you give that kid this offer, okay, you listen. You can tell the kid, okay, listen. If you want, you can take the chocolate right now. No issue. If you want, you can take it. But if you wait till evening, I will give you 2 chocolates. Okay. Now, kid have to take a decision. 1 chocolate right now or 2 chocolates in the evening. In the most of the cases, what the kid will do? Whether he will take 1 chocolate right now or 2 chocolates in the evening. What will do?
Maybe take it
Yeah,
in the right.
he may like that, okay, give me 1 chocolate right now. I need not wait till evening. Okay. If that is the thing, then give him the offer. Okay, now, okay, since then you have to tell him, okay, now I'm modifying the offer. The 1 chocolate in the morning versus 3 chocolates in the evening. Instead of 2, you increase the compensation. You send me 3 chocolates. And watch his reaction. He may agree, he may not agree. Then change the offer to 4 chocolates, 5 chocolates, 6 chocolates, 7 chocolates, 10 chocolates. When you are offering 10 chocolates, that means what you are exactly doing. Morning 1 chocolate, evening also same chocolates you are doing. But 9 chocolates extra you are doing. Extra you are giving. Why extra you are giving? Because you are trying to compensate the kid. And very quickly that kid is also evaluating what is the value of my compensation. Whether 9 chocolate as compensation is good, the moment will satisfy that, okay, this much of compensation is good enough, then he will agree to your proposal. But if you feel the proposal is too risky, you may feel this guest may disappear at any point of time, it is too risky a proposal. You'll say, no, nothing, doing 1 chocolate right now. But if you feel it is not that risky proposal, investment is safe, then he may quickly find out what is the compensation he require and he may satisfy. Okay, 5 chocolates in the evening is okay for me.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding the concept?
Yes, sir.
And you see, without knowing the concept of time value of money, that kid is very quickly evaluating that if I'm investing 1 chocolate, how much I'm getting in the evening, is it worth investment or not? And kid also knows, or you may also know that this chocolate proposal or the return expectation of the kid may vary from kid to kid. One kid may agree for 9 chocolates in the evening, another kid may agree for 5 chocolates in the evening, because their risk perception is different, their situations are different, the sacrifice they are making, they might be different. Isn't it? Just now when I asked you the query, some of you wanted 10%, some of you 5%, some of you 20%. Why it is so? Because as a manager, your risk perception is different, your expectations are different. Okay, so the value we are arriving at, the time value of money, or we are trying to evaluate the compensation for the time, that varies from person to person, that varies from investor to investor. That concept you have understood. Second concept is that this time value of money also varies from project to project or from investment to investment. Let us say you are giving the offer, the kid is saying, okay, I want 9 chocolates. Maybe some other person comes, some other guest comes. That kid may not be happy with 9 chocolates. He may I want 20 chocolates, because he may feel that that particular guest is more risky. He may not give. So risky proposals, more compensation. Less risky proposals, less compensation. And in any investment decision, or for that matter, any financial decision, whether investment decision or financing decision, time is involved. Let us say investment decision, investing money today, but return will come after some time. When I say it will come after some time, it involves uncertainty, it involves risk. Since it involves uncertainty and risk, you need a kind of compensation. Okay, and to evaluate that compensation, we need to understand the concept of time value. Did you understand up to this at conceptual level?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand?
Ji, sir.
Okay. Now, what you have understood, if I am going to summarize this thing, what I told you right now, 1 rupee today is not equal to 1 rupee tomorrow. That means rupee today in the morning is not equal to rupee 1 tomorrow. Just like you have seen that if you are giving me 100 rupees today, you are expecting 120 rupees in the next year, right?
Oh.
Or if you are giving 1 chocolate, you are not giving 1 chocolate to the kid in the morning, you might have to give more chocolates in the evening. So rupee today is not equal to rupee 1 tomorrow. And the value of rupee 1 today is definitely more than value of rupee 1 tomorrow. Meaning the present value is always more than the future value. Okay.
Yes.
Why this is? This is because, first of all, when you are giving me money or a kid is sacrificing this chocolate, he's sacrificing certain things. This is because, number one, postponement of consumption. I'm asking you to give you money. You might have consumed that money. You are postponing. Second reason is that opportunity of use. You might be having some other investment opportunity, as some of you pointed it out. Now you are losing that investment opportunity since you are giving money to me. So that needs to be evaluated. In addition to that, you are also taking risk. Next year, who knows whether I'll be paying it to you or not. In addition to that, one more thing, inflation is also involved. Value of money also decrease. So when you are taking an investment decision, or you are planning to invest money somewhere, these are the sacrifices you are making. Postponement of consumption, opportunity of use, you are taking a risk, and inflation. Right. And you need a compensation to satisfy all these things. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
and the value of the compensation is referred to as time value of money. Right. And to simplify this thing, we can say the compensation that is required for postponement of consumption. You are not using the money. Right. For postponement of consumption is referred to as time value. At formula wise, if you say, what is time value money? Time value money is the rate of inflation plus real rate of return from risk-free rate of risk-free investment plus risk premium. We'll try to understand what is this, what is the breakup. Rate of inflation, you know, what does it mean? That means the purchasing power of money is decreasing. Suppose today in 100 rupees, you are buying 20 cups of tea. Maybe next year, you may be able to buy 15 cups of tea only. Because the value of money has decreased. So if the value of money is, let us assume it is decreased by 5%. So definitely you expect a compensation of 5% at least. Okay, because value of money is decreased 5%. So if you're giving 5%, actually I'm not giving you anything. I'm only compensating you for the diminish in the value of money. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
So when I'm asking you how much return you want, 10%, 20%, 2%. So you must keep in mind what is the rate of inflation. If inflation is not covered, that means you are not getting anything. Let us say inflation rate is 5% and you are getting 4%. That means actually you are not gaining anything, you are losing money. You are losing money. So in any investment, when rate of inflation is not covered, you are in fact losing money, you are not earning any interest. Because value of money is decreasing. Okay. Right. So the first component of time value of money, when you are evaluating our returns, that means how much return we want. First, we will consider the inflation. If inflation is covered, then only there is some return. If inflation is not covered, then we are losing money, we are not getting anything. Second thing we have to keep in mind is the real rate of return from risk-free investment. Right. What is risk-free investment? Risk-free investment means where investment is relatively risk-free. So normally in financial management, we consider central government short-term securities are relatively risk-free investment because they are guaranteed by central government. Central government has power to print money, and these are also short-term investments. So in short-term investment, we assume that there is very less chance that central government will become insolvent in short term. So therefore, central government short-term securities are taken as risk-free rate of interest. So we'll consider that thing. Let us say that rate of interest is 4%. That means without taking any risk, you are capable of earning 4%. So when you are taking risk, so I should give you at least that 4%. Right? So your expectation should cover, first of all, rate of inflation plus risk-free rate of return. Risk-free rate of return means real rate of return from risk-free investment. That means except inflation or net of inflation, what is the risk-free return? You should take it here. Okay, because that is at least you should expect. Plus, since you are making investment, you are taking some risk. You need to add something called as risk premium. So you need to also expect risk premium. So you can say how to compute time value of money or how to compute the return that you are expecting. This consists of three broad components. One is rate of inflation. Secondly, risk-free rate of return. And third one is risk premium. Did you understand this concept?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in any return, when I'm trying to measure our reward for investment decision or for financing decision, we try to measure our reward. So we can take that inflation should be covered, rate of return should be covered, risk premium should be covered. Suppose you are saying 18%. That 18% includes these three things. Okay, maybe inflation is 6.5%, maybe risk rate of return is 9%, and risk premium we are adding 2.5%. That's why you are asking for 18%.
13%.
Okay, so if you want to measure your reward is like this. If you are investing, you need some reward. Okay, inflation is covered means at least you are ensuring that you are not losing. And risk return is covered means you are earning a minimum return which you could have earned without taking any risk. And then since you are taking some risk, you are adding a risk premium. So if you will be able to identify these components, then it will be very easy to compute what is the time value of money, or it will be easy for you to compute how much return you should expect from an investment. Right? So for a particular investment, suppose you want it 15%, is
Excuse me, sir.
adequate. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, three things we are calculating for the in future money, future value of money. They
Yeah.
all are the variable, sir. Suppose we are calculating from today to for 10 years ahead, then within this period, stipulated period, that will be variable.
Yes,
So,
variable.
but we have to take from today value.
You see, everything is variable in life. Everything is variable in long run, and everything is constant at a particular point of time. And when you are taking a decision, decisions are taken at a particular point of time. When you're taking investment decision, at that point of time, inflation is constant, risk rate of return is constant, your risk premium is also constant at that point of time. And over a period of time, everything is variable.
Yes, sir. It is very philosophical and very practical also.
Yeah. But when you take the decision, you have to take at that point of time. No? You have to take the figures at that point of time. Or you may expect in future this thing is going to happen. True, it is variable, and everything is variable, but everything is also constant.
Yes.
Okay, if you take it a point of time, it's constant. If you take a period of time, it's variable. Okay, projects are for a period of time, but decisions about the project are taken at a point of time. At that point, things are constant. Okay. Now, friends, if you have understood this compensation part, now you have also understood, or you will be like to, you definitely appreciate the time value of money for a particular investment can be different for different people. That means you may say your time value of money 10%, somebody may say 20%. It may be different from different people because their expectations of risk premium can be different. Maybe inflation is constant. You can calculate what is the rate of inflation. Risk rate of return can be also constant. But risk premium, your expectation might be 2%, somebody might just be 6%. So this may vary. Okay. So since TVM consists of all these three things, the TVM for a particular investment can be different from different people because their expectation of risk premium can be different. Okay, as I told you, one kid may agree for 10 chocolates, another kid may agree for 5 chocolates because their expectation is different. He may feel this guest is more risky, other guest is less risky. That is one concept. Second concept, this concept is that this thing. TVM for different investment in respect of same person. That means you are the guest, but two kids are there. Again, one kid may say 10 chocolates, another kid say 5 chocolates. That means for two guests, expectation might be different. Same kid with two guests, and same guest and two kids, expectation will be different. Just like uh, I am saying just now that TVM for a particular investment can be different for different people. Right? Your project is same, but somebody is saying 10, somebody is expecting 10%, somebody is expecting 20%. Second para, what I'm saying is TVM for different investment. That means same manager, same investor, but two projects. But one project he may expect 20%, another he may expect 18%. Why so? Because we'll expect here I'm taking more risk, another case I'm taking less risk. Are you getting? These 2 points are different. Are you able to understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, Present value is the today's value of tomorrow's money. So when
Oh.
we'll be understanding present value concept, we need to know it is the today's value of tomorrow's money. Whatever money you are going to receive in future, that's value as of now is called as present value. And what is future value? Future value is the tomorrow's value of today's money. Today, whatever money you are having, that's future value. And tomorrow, what will be the value of that money? That is referred to as the future value. Present value, future value are inverse of each other. Okay, they are opposite sides. They are inverse of each other. How to calculate present value and future value? Already you know, if you want to find out the amount in case of compounding interest, amount is equal to principal into 1 plus r to the power n. So in compounding interest formula, I have shown you this formula. This formula you must have learned in your school days also. Okay, but in financial management, this amount will be calling it the future value, or you can say the future value is equal to present value into 1 plus r to the power n. P is the principal or present value. What is R? It is referred to here. The R is nothing but our time value of money. We call at that time rate of interest. Now we'll be calling it as the time value of money. N is the number of years. This compounding interest is the formula for future value of money. Okay. And how we are getting future value of money? By multiplying present value of money with this factor. So this factor, 1 plus r to the power n, this is referred to as future value factor. That means present value into future value factor will be getting future value. Okay. And if future value is there, this is the future value, and you want to calculate the present value. This is the future value, you want to calculate the present value. What you will do? A divided by 1 plus r to the power n is equal to P. Or you can say present value is equal to A into 1 by 1 plus r to the power n. This 1 by 1 plus r to the power n is referred to the present value factor. Because what is present value? Present value is the future multiplied with 1 by 1 plus r to the power n. So 1 plus r to the power n is referred to as future value factor. 1 by 1 plus r to the power n is referred to as present value factor. Okay. Let us say present value is 100 rupees and time value of money 10%. Then or interest rate is 10%. The 100 rupees will become 110 after 1 year. How we'll do this? So this is T0 means present value. This is T1 means after 1 year. So present value into 1.10 is equal to future value at 110. This 1.10 is called as the future value factor or compounding factor, because when I'm multiplying it, I'm getting future. And from future value, how to come to present value? 110 multiplied with 1 by 1.1 by 1.1. Okay, when you're multiplying here, I have to divide. Divide, I'm calling it multiplying it with 1 by 1.1. I'll be getting present value. This 1 by 1.1 is called as the discounting factor or present value factor. Okay, this is compounding factor or future value factor. This is discounting factor, present value factor. Did you understand? So if you know this time value of money 10%, I can move from present value to future value, or I can move from future value to present value.
Sir, 1.10 is compounding factor, 1 by 1.10 is discounting factor.
Yes, this is discounting factor. Did you understand this? Okay. So this compounding factor, discounting factor, we'll be again learning. Maybe next class, I would also like to explain this thing. We'll continue this concept in the next class. After that only, we'll move to the area of this thing, capital structure. Okay, friends, we'll stop here right now. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.